What is going on, guys? I don't know if anybody's in here yet. I never know if people are in here. I really never know if I'm live. But had so much fun yesterday. Figured we would come back and do it again tonight. And so people had asked me about other cards that I had, other cards that I collected. And I wanted to go ahead and show some of the other cards, some of my, I don't want to say my more important cards, but some of my more valuable cards. I got a scuff on my table here. So I would say, right here is probably one of my more valuable cards. I wanted a Juan Soto on-card auto, and obviously, the last couple of years, the on-card autos have kind of slipped a little bit. So I would say as far as, the most I've personally spent on a card, this card is probably up there. This, I think, probably run you around $100, $150. As far as, some recent cards that I've picked up, what's going on? No Games, Just Sports. This Refractor, this is just a beautiful card, man. There's no way a video does this card justice at all. I love that card. I'm also a big fan of these stained glass cards. I don't know how these are going to actually translate over into the market, if people are going to love these or not, but I really think these are cool and pretty cards. I got a couple of them, but with that in mind, I also want to talk about why I personally don't like to collect cards. And here's going to be two reasons. Number one, to me, this is just a little bit ridiculous, okay? This is all Diamond Kings 2020. You've got your standard base. You've got your Stars and Stripes. You've got your Liberty. You've got your red parallel. That's your red wave. That's your red Fedora. That's your orange. That's your foil numbered to 400. That's your chrome, which, by the way, really good job on that. Look at how misprinted that card is. Look at the silver Pandora, the black, the purple, the blue prism. The blue, this is a chrome. The Carolina blue, the lime, the pink laser, the orange, the red, white, and blue. This is the foil 2021. This is the candy cane, even though it's literally the same. This one is a chrome numbered to 45. The green snakeskin, the red snakeskin. Those are all the same cards, just different variants. To me, I don't mind 5 or 6. I mind 15, 20, 30. That's just ridiculous. So the other reason that I actually got out of collecting cards when I was younger, and I mentioned the other day, a friend of mine went up to the King of Prussia show, bought a Brady Chrome rookie, and these were literally like pennies on the penny. So these are probably pack fresh. And I don't mind CSG. Somebody in my channel was like, let me try to move my camera down a little bit. Somebody in my channel was complaining about CSG. I really don't mind CSG, especially for older cards, because the reality is these cards are probably pack fresh, but this card's 40 some years old. And, the only reason it's a 6 is because the centering and the spacing on these cards, just the quality control wasn't there. So I did pick up that OJ Simpson. I got a nice Barry Sanders Pro set, which again, top to bottom, is just insanely poor. Another one. This is a double asterisk variant, and I don't understand why. There technically is 2 asterisks on the back. The 1990 Pro Bowl. I believe technically this would be a rookie, his draft pick rookie. And then I also picked up, as we talked about yesterday, Reggie White. So these I probably bought for less than you would buy the raw card for, already slapped. So I'm a big fan of CSG. I know, like I said, some people aren't, but to me, I feel like CSG and SCG are both going up. And if I buy those cards and the slabs turn out to even be worth a fraction of what the card is, I'll be okay in the long run. So again, man, that's kind of the 2 reasons I had gotten away from collecting. Number one, quality control of the older cards was just out of line, and still to a degree is today. And number 2, when you're doing 50 variants of a card, it's just, you're in it for money. You're not in it for me being a fan. But I got another one of these boxes. I figured we'll go through and break it because it's almost more fun to talk about the cards and the players than it is actually getting the cards. There's hits here. I'll leave them there. Of course, one of them's already spoiled if you looked at it fast enough. And I'm going to try to get all of these out here without power slamming the box like I did the other day, which almost just happened. I will say one thing. They definitely fill these boxes full. You're not paying and not getting cards. All right, let me get caught up here. Treehouse Burrito, what's going on? Acid Bath Archive, Arthur Roca, Mr. Cricket, Unicorn Extreme GT. I'm feeling all right, man. I'm having good days and bad days. Hopefully I have more good days than bad days. Let's try to get all of these at least put together a little bit in piles, and then we'll go through them. See what we got, man. Stay away from those clowns. Stay away from this clown's stock picks. Oh, come on, man. If you go back and look at my old videos, I'm pretty sure my stock picks pretty much did really well because I've held most of my picks, if not all. Where do I buy my cards? I buy my cards a variety of places. I'll look at repacks. As I said, if I've got a sports card store in the area that I periodically go to, but they're a little pricey. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think sports card stores are probably in trouble a little bit from what I've seen. So let's go ahead through this repack, see what we got. We're going to start with Terrence West. That's a chrome refractor. We're going to move forward with AJ Green, Devin Bush, CJ Uzama. Got some cards flipped over here. Juju Smith-Schuster. There's the Honey Badger. There's Jared Cook. There is Tyler Higbee. There's DJ Moore. There's an AJ Terrell, and sneaking through a Devontae Parker. We're going to be smart about the chrome ones this time. We're going to put them over on their own side. There's another Gardner Minshew. These mosaic cards are really, really nice. Terry Bradshaw, Myles Garrett. There's an All-American draft pick, Andre Williams, a Blake Sims. This is a Tajay Boyd. There's two of them actually there. So I guess that would be the original and the variant. There's a winning ticket, Christian McCaffrey. What is my NFL team? I'm shocked that somebody would ask what my NFL team is, but I'm a Colts fan. Is Anthony Smith going to be a regular on ESPN coverage? Yes, he's been a regular. My old buddy Anthony Smith, Devonta Freeman, Kelvin Benjamin, Denelli Walker. Josh Norman. What happened to Josh Norman, man? Josh Norman, for a while, when he was with the Panthers, you really thought was going to be one of the premier corners in the league. And I guess, in a way, he still is, but he just kind of has taken a step back, as many corners do. Devontae Adams, A.J. Green, and Ndamukong Suh. And Ndamukong Suh, in my opinion, got a really bad rep for being a dirty player. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, I think Ndamukong Suh has been productive on just about every single team. And you can say that he's been a dirty player, and maybe he has, but I'll take a productive player that's aggressive and dirty, like Ndamukong Suh, long before I'll take an aggressive player that's dirty and doesn't continue to have a productivity or a long career like, there's a lot of players. Vontaze Burfict would come to mind right up there. So how do I feel about the Carson Wentz trade? I don't know, man. Like, as far as Carson is concerned, I like Carson a lot. I didn't think he had a full complement of players. I feel like he needed more than that. I feel like he needed multiple seasons, especially when looking back at the way he was brought in through Frank Reich. I understand that that's going to create a strange dynamic between the coach and the players. And loyalty is going to be questioned now because you didn't give him time to develop. And that stinks, man. It really does. So I'm all for it. I guess, if anything, I'd like to see Baker Mayfield. The options are dwindling. So Kerryon Johnson, everyone's favorite Madden player. There's Jacoby Brissett. I believe Jacoby has a new home as of today. Here's a retro action pack, Tre'Davious White. I pulled the Tre'Davious White rookie from these boxes the other day. There's a Brett Favre. These cards where they redo and put the college athletes back on them always kind of trip me up. And I feel like I'm always pulling Sonny Michel. So I wouldn't say we got anything too good out of that lot. I was just playing MLB The Show, wondering what a football game could look like. Deshaun Watson's going to have a hard time in Cleveland. I'd be interested to know what time he's going to have in Cleveland. I was looking at it today. There's obviously mixed reports, pure speculation as to how long suspension is going to be. But I think for what it's worth to a man, everyone knows that he's going to have some type of suspension. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. So, they're really setting themselves up there to back up the truck for him. And I don't know if he's going to be able to play the way they want him to. Definitely a great talent, but, we've all seen talent has to stay on the field. Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Vernon Davis, Blaine Gabbert. That's a Blaine Gabbert rookie card. Doesn't really hold a lot of value. There's a Landon Collins, a Jared Cook, a Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not a player I want to see in a Colts uniform. Another Kerryon Johnson. There's an Aeneas Williams. Aeneas Williams, all time, one of the greatest corners, safeties, defensive players there is. I have an Aeneas Williams Rams helmet I would love to get signed, but I'm always leery about sending her over to his church. There's a Jarrett Grayson. That almost looks like the since I just showed it, that almost looks like the Juan Soto card, kind of the stained glass look. I like it. There's a Dalvin Cook chrome. There's a David Montgomery chrome. There's another Gardner Minshew chrome. There's a DK Metcalf chrome. DK Metcalf kind of been tearing it up lately. There's a Kevin Byard. If you remember the whole Madden Kevin Byard situation where Deion Sanders didn't know who he was. There's a guy I'm not too fond of in his guarantees, as I mentioned, Joe Namath. There's a great player in Jack Youngblood. Jared Goff, Hunter Renfrow. There's a Jason Witten from the booth to the field, maybe back to the booth. Leonard Fournette, underrated in my opinion. Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know. Somebody tell me, did Teddy Bridgewater make a team yet? What's going on with Teddy Bridgewater? Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. If you're a Ravens fan, you got to let me know. There's a C.J. Henderson, a Darrell Taylor, a Nelvin Gallimore, and another Patrick Queen to round it out. And just to keep the reflection down, we are going to move one of these cards over to cover that. We will go with this season ticket, Jerry Rice. Look at the old Jerry Rice college uni. Gotta love it. Austin Eckler. Marlon Mack in the college unis. Gardner Minshew in the college unis. Tony Pollard. I love these cards. I mentioned today I went and actually had my local card store. They had these for Tom Brady and Steve Grogan. I bought a set of them. I'm going to send them out and see if we can get Steve to sign them, and I'll give one away on the channel. Flipping these over for the Melvin Gordon. Flipping these over again for the Darren Walker. Kenyon Drake. It's got to be a Daniel Jones. There's a Joe Mixon. There's a Nick Bosa. There's a John Ross III. A Stephon Diggs. There's a nice Dan Marino, thick stock Dan Marino on the Prestige. Love those thick cards. Antonio Brown, Arian Foster, draft day standouts, 4th round, 19 overall. Brandon Marshall. No, I don't know why I had to look at it. It just didn't stand out to me for some reason. Melvin Ingram, Rashad Jennings, Frank Gore. There's the man. We'll keep him on top. Demaryius Thomas, Brian Hartline, Wes Welker, Dre Archer, and Greg Robinson. DT, man, what a loss. All-time great. Hopefully makes the Hall of Fame. I don't know if the numbers are there, but guy was definitely an absolute standout player. He did it with multiple quarterbacks, too. It's always important to make sure productivity is always going to be there. There's a Tyrell Williams, a DJ Moore, Marquise Goodwin, Stephon Diggs, one of the all-time greatest. Calvin Johnson, if you're playing this Madden game, you might not realize what's in the background there. It's a referee. Here's a really nice Deion Sanders with the throwback uniform, the old Falcons helmet. I love the look of the old Falcons helmet. That's a pretty cool little card, man. I like that one a lot. I've got a Deion Sanders helmet, full size, that exact helmet. There's another great corner, man, Champ Bailey. Take a look at those two guys. For a while, they were all elite cornerbacks in the league. Aaron Donald, Quintez, I don't know who that is, man. Quintez Cephas? Not familiar. It's got to be a newer player, though. There's a Jerry Jeudy. I got a Jerry Jeudy PSA. One of the first videos I did, we pulled that Jerry Jeudy PSA 10. There's Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan uncertain, but in the throwback uniform there, too, to match the Deion Sanders. There's a Jelani Tavi. Another Kenyon Drake. Matthew Stafford. Roquan Smith. Man, there's another all-time great. It actually, every time I see it, it kind of takes me back, man. Sean Taylor. Gone way too soon, Sean. Definitely one of the greatest players, in my opinion, to ever play. A real game changer. The reason my channel has this number, if anyone ever really wanted to know, is because of Sean Taylor and the way that he played. So we're gonna put Sean up here, man. We're not gonna set him on top like we did with DT. We're gonna take a special homage for Sean Taylor. Ryan Kerrigan, another Kevin Byard. There's Joe Namath. There's a J.J. Watt. Pretty cool looking card. This reminds me of a Stadium Club S card. Except obviously it's not Stadium Club. It's Gridiron Football with the no helmet on. It's pretty cool photography. There's a Drew Brees, Monday Night Heroes, extending the ball into the end zone. Like we saw Madden try to show us. Remember when they tried to sell us on that gimmick of Lamar Jackson reaching into the end zone and it doesn't even happen in the game. There's a Mike Williams. Again, this is Gridiron Football. It seems like it's really big on the photography. The pink towel, a great rivalry game there too against the Cleveland Browns. Here's a Dwayne Bowe. I was a big fan of Dwayne Bowe. He was a dependable receiver. Not really an elite receiver, but a dependable receiver. And his cousin actually played with the Chiefs as well. So it's a pretty cool little tandem, man. Florence over there on the coverage. I believe that's Drayton Florence. He's a decent corner. There's an arms race Jay Cutler with the 9/11 patch to show you how old that card is. And there's an iconic image right there. I always remember Mike Vick more in a move like this than, running in the open field for whatever reason. Deshaun Foster has that infamous, backwards leaping touchdown run that I think about a lot when I just think of like classic football moves. The Colts had, I can't think of the name of the halfback that did one too. He only lasted about a year or two, but he was special until he got hurt. Brandon Marshall again. There's a Drew Brees. Feel like that's very similar to the Drew Brees shot we just saw. As a matter of fact, we're going to go back and take a look. Did they really use the same imagery? They did. Look at this. Look at this. Wasn't I just talking about why I got out of collecting cards? It's literally, it's not the same exact image, right? But it's close enough where you can immediately tell that it's the same play. That's comical to me. Also comical to me is the next card. You know what? I believe some of these are actually numbered, and this one is. If you're a Mark Sanchez fan, only 250 people can hold this card, but only one player could have the butt fumble, and it's Mark Sanchez. Jack Youngblood, Jared Goff, Hunter Renfrow, Jason Witten. I feel like I picked back up where I was leaving off, but I didn't. Eric Kendrick, Leonard Williams, and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins staying put for those of you that were worried. Don't worry anymore. He will still be there. They sent me 2 smaller boxes. We're not going. We had that 500 box. It took forever to get through. I love how there's a bot in here that I can't do anything with because I'm too far from the computer. There's a Julio Jones. There's an AJ Green. There's a Phillip Rivers. I'd like to see Phillip come back for a little bit. There's a LaShawn McCoy. There's another Dwayne Bowe. Don't see a lot of Dwayne Bowe cards, and all of a sudden I'm pulling them left and right. There's a Matt Ryan. There's a Calvin Johnson playing against the Buccaneers. There's another Jay Cutler. There is a Marshawn Lynch. Looks like he's running through Navarro. Is it Navarro Bowman? It's hard to tell. Might be Navarro Bowman, but I believe that's definitely Justin Smith in the background. There's a blue parallel of Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, another guy that just kind of fell off really quick. Brandon Marshall again. There's a Ray Lewis card. There's an Andre Johnson. Talk about Andre a lot. One of the GOATs, in my opinion. Obviously, wish he could have been more productive on the Colts, but, it is what it is. There's a Percy Harvin, another guy that kind of fell off. There's Bryant. There's another Dwayne Bowe, man. We got the Dwayne Bowe box. Wes Welker, another Drew Brees. Tony Romo not holding a snap for that image. There is an Alex Robinson. These are hard cards to read, man. There is a Quincy Emerson. I can't read it. The script is too hard. There's a Cody Latimer. I can get that one. There's a Charles Smith. There is a, this is the guy we pulled yesterday, the Ewin Smallwood. We pulled the autograph card of him the other day. I can't even read them. The script is to Paul Richardson, Darrell Walker, DeAnthony Thomas. I can get the name if I remember. Marquise Lee. But those are way too hard to read. They need to do something different with those. Antoine Winfield. There's a cool picture. That's a Jeff Okuda. That's got to be not numbered, but if you can look, it's probably hard to tell. That is a parallel card that has a canvas on it. It actually says canvas in the upper right-hand corner if I could read and look. Henry Ruggs III. Man, what are you going to do? Big Noah, Drew Brees, Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, one of the all-time greats. One of the all-time greats. Let me take a look here. Ryan, top 3 Super Bowls. Super Bowl 5, Super Bowl 5, Super Bowl 5. What's going on? Stack bundles. Hefe KC. I'll take your Mahomes cards. Scott V is upset about Mark Sanchez for some reason. We'll move forward here. Quentin Williams, DJ Chart. What do we got? McCole Hardman Jr. Kyler Murray. What do you guys feel about Kyler Murray? So Kyler Murray, I'm not sold on Kyler Murray. Cole Kemet, Devontae Parker, Ronnie Stanley, Christian McCaffrey, Matt Ryan, Evan Ingram, Zach Moss, Jermaine Pratt, Zach Cunningham, some guy named Tom Brady, Derek Carr, wants to be Tom Brady, Chris Carson, Montez Sweat. There's a nice card. That is a Joe Burrow refractor elite. Yeah, of course it wouldn't be numbered, but those are beautiful cards, man. And Joe Burrow, we'll set him up on top here. We're not going to cover Demaryius Thomas, but we'll set him up on top. Joe Burrow could be the man. See how he bounces back. You never know, right? There's Zach Moss, KJ Hill, Jake Fromm, Khalil Tate, KJ. I don't know who this is at all. KJ Hamiller? I don't know, man. Nittany State Line, not a college football guy. Somebody let me know if he's a monster. There's a LaMichael Petway. There's a Raymond Calais. Don't know. Harrison Bryant, it's a good football name. CeeDee Lamb, definitely know CeeDee Lamb. There's a Mark Brunell parallel. I like when the parallels match in a way. So this is a green parallel on a teal team. What about Quincy Carter? Caution. I don't know, man. Quincy Carter was maybe underrated. I don't know. He's been injured for the Broncos. Well, there we go. That would explain why I don't know a lot about him. About to know a lot about him if he gets healthy with Russell Wilson throwing him the ball. There is a Julio Jones. There is a Josh Norman. There is a Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp. Don't see a lot of Warren Sapp cards come out of boxes. Murray wants too much money, feeling cold from all the Matty Ice cards. Hamler was a second-round pick. Well, you know what? For a second-round pick, I should know more. There's another Aeneas Williams. We got an Aeneas Williams box, man. There's a Ricky Williams. I got a beautiful Ricky Williams 420 jersey autographed. Got some inscriptions on it that I probably can't say here, but it's on my Twitter if anybody wants to go look at it. Brian Westbrook, Peyton Barber. Peyton Barber really didn't pan out either, did he? It's funny to go back and look at some of those older cards and remember those names and ask yourself what went wrong. Sage Surratt, Javon Holland, Patrick Jones II, Carlos Basham Jr. There's a really nice Calvin Ridley, an elite foil Calvin Ridley. Come over and flip it for Nick Bosa. We're going to flip it back for Pat Mahomes. So there we go. We got a Burrow and Mahomes refractor elite. Can't complain. There's a Joe Montana if we want to stick with good quarterbacks. There's an Aaron Rodgers if we're sticking with good quarterbacks. There's a Jamal Davis, or Jamal Adams, rather, kind of screwed the whole thing up. There is Nick Chubb. There's Brian Dawkins. Talked about him yesterday. The man, Brian Dawkins. Definitely a great player. Here's a T. Higgins looking a lot like Chad Johnson, if I don't mind saying that. I know he doesn't play like him, but He looks like him there with number 85. Ryan Fitzpatrick, John Ross II, Benny Snell. There's a Frank Clark, Frank the Tank, and there's a Mike Vick. I think that's the second Mike Vick card we've pulled. Have a Mike Vick game-worn jersey, believe it or not. Preseason, back when the Eagles really didn't want Nike to make their jersey, so they just kind of like carried over a Reebok jersey. They had to be uncomfortable because the cut was weird. If you don't follow uniforms, like Equipment Guru, you might not know that. Vernon Davis, back to the gridiron cards that I really like. That's a nice-looking card. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. He is taunting, but, I mean, if you actually look at that, that cameraman is in a really tough spot. So I don't envy that. The guy in the background isn't even approaching the situation, but I wouldn't want to be on the sidelines and just be crotch level with players. Doesn't seem like a good one. I have pulled, I can't say his name, but yeah, we were taking a gamble on these Calvin Ridley cards. We'll see if the gamble pays off. We know for him it didn't. There is Mark Ingram with the BCA gloves. There is Alex Smith. Alex Smith, great comeback story. I really am a fan of these cards. Alex Smith, 1 foot over the pylon there, so I don't know if that's a touchdown because the ball is in the opposite hand. I don't know. That's an odd image to pick against the Cowboys because you would think they would have wanted him to extend the ball. So, in essence, this is a very Madden-esque card because he should have better situational awareness. Speaking of situational awareness, here's a guy that really struggled with it, Jay Cutler. But in front, there's Matt Forte. Matt Forte, in my opinion, criminally underrated as far as being a running back. There is a Phillip Rivers arms race. Someone mentioned if I had one. I don't, but I do now. There is Tim Tebow leading a prayer against the Bengals and a random player in the background just standing up chilling, just standing there waiting. There's a Bengal praying. It's a strange image to put on a card where one guy in the background is just like, are we going to get this over with? I want to do a jersey swap with someone, I think is what he was thinking. There is LeGarrette Blount breaking a tackle from an Indianapolis Colt. I don't know who that Colt would be. Number 30, probably Caldwell. LeGarrette Blount, man. Got into some fights, got kicked out of Tennessee, but then, hey, I believe he actually spent time in Indy before he got there. Was a pretty decent player. Really, really turned his career, and a lot of times players get in fights and don't come back from it. There's an Eli Manning. There's a Tony Romo with a mess of a line. You got one player on the ground. You got one player looking the other way. It's a weird one. There is Larry Fitzgerald not being hit because that's what Larry Fitzgerald did to have such a long career. This is a card that I'm not really fond of. There's Curtis Painter getting sacked by James Harrison. Like that's anything to be proud of. But James Harrison, when he was playing, I wasn't a big fan of him. But I watched that documentary on him, and I got to say, he changed me a little bit. Seemed like a good player, hard work. Well, I mean, he was a good player, even if I didn't care for the team he was on. But hard worker, not going to hate on him. And we're going to finish it off with a Pat Pete rookie. So I'm not going to complain about that. Who would have known? Patrick Peterson rookie card. Let's see what they say. High-level accolades have followed Patrick wherever he's been. USA Today's Defensive Player of the Year as a pick in high school in 2017. Had his choice of colleges and opted for LSU. By his second season there, he was a second-team All-American as a junior. In 10, Peterson hauled in the Thorpe and Bednarik Awards for his defensive prowess. Then he went on to be an elite shutdown corner for a very long time. Patrick Peterson rookie card. Not a bad box, man. I mean, all things considered, to me, the value in the box is not in the cards. The value in the box is the memories and the players within. And I got to tell you, set aside the Pat Pete rookie, man, just to have the Sean Taylor card and open it up with you guys and think back of all the great memories I had of Sean, all the times that I got to see Sean play. I did get to see him play live, which was really special. Means a lot. There was a Joe Burrow card in there somewhere that was probably a decent card as well. So let's take a look at the hits. Do I remember Chris Chandler? No, Chris Chandler's a little before my time. Phillip Rivers has a weird throw. Yes, he does. It's kind of a weird sidearm throw. Josh Gordon was and is a sad story. Well, I don't think Josh Gordon's story is completely written yet. We'll see if it is. So let's take a look at our hits here. This is a guy that I would love to know your opinion on, man. Brandon Aiyuk. I drafted Brandon Aiyuk in all my fantasy teams this year. I started him at all the wrong times, which means I started him most of the year. This is an unnumbered card, but it is a rookie wave card. He's definitely not going to go above Sean Taylor. I don't even know why I attempted to do that. But I don't know. Do you guys think Brandon Aiyuk has it? Because I personally don't. And here is another player that you guys may have to help me out on. Aaron Green. Aaron Green, St. Louis Rams. This is not an on-card auto, but it appears that he was a wide receiver. No, he was I don't know. It doesn't say. It does not say what he is. He's wearing number 22 as a running back, but on the back of the card, it talks about his instincts as a runner and receiver, which, I mean, technically, he could be catching out of the backfield. But I do not remember anything about Aaron Green. Can someone inform me about Aaron Green and what he did? I don't remember. Chris Chandler played in the Super Bowl against the Broncos for the Falcons. I don't know where the Chris Chandler... the only thing I remember about Chris Chandler was the crystal chandelier mocking that he received. Kirk Cousins Hall of Fame, you know, it's difficult to say that a player will be in the Hall of Fame right now because we don't know what they're going to do, right? I will offer that if Kirk Cousins somehow finds a way to lead a team to multiple Super Bowls, I need at least 2 in 5 years. If you win, I'll give you 1 in 6 years. You can really up your consideration for Hall of Fame worthiness. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, could probably be the case. I say that knowing full well that we just watched Matthew Stafford have one decent year that led to a Super Bowl, and now people are saying he's in the Hall of Fame, when he would have never even scratched the Hall of Fame in Detroit. Do I have a Tua card? I do. I do have some Tua cards. They're not here, but I do have them. Can I get your opinion on Marcus Mariota? Marcus Mariota was a good quarterback. Marcus Mariota, in my opinion, much like Andrew Luck, tried to do too much. And when you try to do too much and you don't have weapons around you, the end result is you're going to lose football games. And that's what happened with Marcus Mariota. Then I think he went through some coaching changes, lost confidence with the fans and the team, lost the team, and then was off the team. Colts quarterback, I've said it, Scott, it's got to be Baker Mayfield at this point. And I would be particularly happy if it happened. Any suggestions on where to live in Maryland, particularly in Baltimore, D.C.? I would not live in Baltimore, I can tell you that. I probably wouldn't live in PG County. If I had to pick, I would probably try to stay up more northern, depending on where you're doing. That's a pretty wide net to cast. So if I was going to move to Maryland again, I would stick with western or I would stick with northern. But I would take a good look at the police reports in your area because Baltimore continues to be one of just the most undeniably trauma-filled cities in America, and I don't understand. Baltimore has what I thought was a great mayor in Brandon, but I don't know how much the mayor can do to correct what's going on. But if you just Google Baltimore, Maryland, and look at what's happening, I don't understand it. It's very sad. Lost a wonderful artist yesterday from the area, so it's just it's tragic. Tua is overrated, in my opinion. Mariota was garbage. Well, Tua, it's yet to be seen. Who knows, right? This guy loves Brandon Aiyuk. He has skills. I'm not debating that he has skills. I'm just debating that he puts them on the field at all times. It seems to me like when I watched him, he takes some plays off. I mean, that's just me. Definitely has a quarterback that he could play for. Definitely could have been putting up bigger numbers. But, I mean, there's games that he just unequivocally disappeared. And that's not good for a quarterback. That's not good for a new quarterback coming in that's going to need to have some stability and look at a player like him as a leader that could be a massive – the guy is gigantic. He should be a massive target, and he wasn't last year. Have I been getting your emails about Madden 21? I would imagine if you've been sending them, I get them. So I was pretty backed up on videos. I no longer am. So if you guys have, bad Madden footage, don't hesitate to send it over. Tommy Maddox, the AFL GOAT. I don't know that I would say Tommy Maddox was the AFL GOAT. I think Tommy Maddox was a player that was needed. We ultimately don't have that today. I think that you need a quarterback, any player really, that comes over from an opposing league and shows that there's talent there, be it the CFL. Kenton Keith came over for the Colts for a while and shows that talent can come out of that league. When you don't have that, when you don't have a player that comes over from, the XFL or the USFL or whatever league there is, I don't think that people or fans look at it as viable talent, and they won't watch the games. They look at it as a second-tier league. So I think it's important that you have players that come over from those leagues and show that they can play at the NFL level. And once that happens, those leagues become more credible. Arena Football League had a bunch of them. Dwayne Bowe, I don't think Dwayne Bowe came. His cousin did, and his cousin slipped in my mind. I can't think of his name. Somebody should know. Dwayne Bowe's cousin definitely came from the AFL, the Arena Football League. He played for I believe the New York, Bobby Scipio is his name. See, look at that. Just came back to me. Bobby Scipio was Dwayne Bowe's cousin, came from the AFL. They both played on the Chiefs together at the same time. So Bobby Scipio, don't forget about that guy. Mike Furry came out of the Arena Football League. Mike Furry played for the Detroit Lions, corner and receiver. Probably the only player in the history of the NFL that I believe led the league in interceptions one year and the league in interceptions the next year, or inverse that. Led the league in interceptions one year and receptions the next year. Also on the Thanksgiving Day game when they played the Cowboys, he went to spike the ball and inadvertently hit the Cowboys star and knocked it off the side of the stadium. So you ever want a good laugh, you can go look at that. T.O. was busy dunking it into the old, Salvation Army pot, but Mike Furry was knocking down their stars. Kurt Warner, obviously, the Barnstormers, yeah. I mean, I've been meaning to watch that movie. I just haven't got around to it. So maybe I'll check that out sometime this weekend. I don't even know where it is. Is it in theaters? Is it on demand? Do we still go to theaters? Are theaters a thing? My AMC stock isn't doing well, so I don't know if the theaters are still a thing, stack bundles. But other than that, man, I don't want to run more than 40 minutes on these things. I appreciate all you guys coming in here at 12 o'clock at night. I tried to get it done a little bit earlier. So other than that, I'll try to knock a couple of these out every once in a while. Would you take a look at? Absolutely. I'm a huge Colin Kaepernick supporter. I believe he should be, if nothing else, he should be on a roster as a backup quarterback because he has more talent than most of the backup quarterbacks in the league. He probably has more talent than some of the starters. So I think we all understand why Colin Kaepernick is not starting, won't be starting, and it's just sad because you look at players that have other situations that aren't anywhere on the same scale, and they just won't even, they just won't even give them a look. It's sad. Now we're getting to the point, unfortunately, with Colin where they'll begin to use age and inexperience as a real motivation as to why they can't sign him. But that doesn't make any of what's happened the past couple of years anywhere near excusable. So just now, you might see in the next 1 to 2 years where somebody will say, well, he's not getting the look because he's older. He's not getting the look because he's not playing in the other leagues. Obviously, I don't know whether that would hurt his case or not. If he went to the USFL right now, would it help? I don't know. He'd be the best player on the field, in my opinion. So other than that, guys, appreciate every single one of you. You guys know I've got some great Madden content coming up. I've also got a lot of All-Pro football videos coming up. I love when I show All-Pro football videos and people don't know what they are. Does ask what the game is, thinks that it's a new game. Those are the best times. Appreciate you guys. And again, you guys know I'll be back as soon as I can with more content.